Tshirt POV. His body suddenly relaxed. Vidmori may have been nonchalant, but by accepting his people, Tshirt couldn't help but feel his anxieties washing away. Though he suddenly felt anxious again, as he felt the Core's voice echoing in his mind. However, I need something from you. You may stay on my land, but setting up any supply and structures will no doubt take time and resources. If you're anything to go by regarding the state of your people, that'll be hard to get going. Tsirt's mind raced, wondering what Vidmori could want with an old man like him. His gaze went over to the mage and warrior, as they merely shrugged. If it means my people will be safer sooner, then I'll do anything. Vidmori was silent for a couple of moments before his voice came through. It almost sounded like he was smiling. Good. That's a praiseworthy mindset. I need two things from you. First, hunt a flying bird for me and offer it before me. Your second task will be presented after you're done. You don't need to hunt the bird yourself, but the sooner you present one to me, the sooner we move forward. In the meantime, there are about 8 tents in the woods with bare scraps for food. You may use all the supplies from the caravan you came in on to get your people settled in. Tshirt was vaguely surprised, but nodded as he bowed his head lower, scraping the floor. A bird, yes, I shall bring you the finest bird I can find, O great Vidmori. Oh, and here. I have no real use for these weapons yet, so hopefully they serve you well, Vidmori explained, as 2 bows, 2 quivers, with a total of 40 arrows, an axe, a short sword, and a long sword, appeared at the bottom of the steps to the pedestal. Tshirt raised his head in acknowledgement, wondering where it all came from, as he stood and began to collect everything. His arms were laden with weapons, as Rionim decided to pitch in, and at least help carry everything down. Revere turned to acknowledge Vidmori once more. We shall take Tshirt back to his people and help them collect themselves. From here, we shall make our way to the Empire and report to His Majesty. Vidmori was quiet for a bit, though he responded. All right then, safe travels. He sounded relatively cheerful, as Revere bowed her head and left with Rionim and the Lizard Man. The doorway grew once more as they passed, before going back to normal. Vidmori POV. Well, I've somehow got myself tangled in international politics. I was never one for politics myself. I was more suited to sticking a knife between someone's ribs or infiltrating a place to spy while remaining out of sight. Nonetheless, I now have a representative in this new world, which should help me in the long run. Looking over to Basti, I can't see her changing much physically anymore, though I noticed some movement around her manor heart. She's got one of those rings now, which seems fascinating to watch, though I shouldn't let myself get too distracted, as I let my right hand enjoy her catnap. I dole out some more mana to the cubs, the set of 4 getting a burst of energy like kids on caffeine as they play around in the parkour nook. The grey-black boy cub even joining in this time, for the mewling and roughhousing. I look around for Oruru for a few moments, since he's uncharacteristically not holding his post on my pedestal steps. It doesn't take long to find him, since he's currently called up in his house rock. It seems the poor fellow is also tired after such a busy day. Upon closer inspection, though, it looks like he's got layers of skin slowly peeling off him. Huh. I wonder if that's how snakes usually shed skin. It's not like I have ever watched the process before. At this point, I turn my attention to myself, looking over my core after those intense waves of energy I got today. I had 3 rings earlier, but now, after naming Rionim and Revere, as well as finishing up that thing with the diamonds, there are only 2 rings left. I also grew bigger again. Not by much, mind you, but it's noticeable. I'm still essentially grapefruit-sized, but with a couple more inches added to my overall diameter. In other news, it seems once my mana zombies get killed, I'm unable to bring them back once more. It is a shame, but I'm glad I don't have any useless corpses cluttering my inventory space. On the other hand, the 3 that survived this last attack seem to have undergone some more mutations. The green orc seems to have bulked up. Her shoulders are now broader, and her fingers and fingernails look denser and sharper. The black-skinned elf looks more slender, yet upon further inspection I can tell his leg muscles are being defined for more leaping and jumping, increasing his mobility. Finally, The last human zombie, his lower jaw was clubbed off, and his arms were severed. Even with all that, I can see that his throat has already developed specific mutations, along with his stomach and bile. Fascinating. Outside of those guys, I now have 15 new corpses to experiment with. Aside from most of them being more physically developed, a lot of them also have the makings of magic users, which I'm fascinated to see play out. Not to mention all their weapons and armor I can study and try to reverse engineer. If I can learn more about the armor of this world, I can probably start adapting it with some modern twists, which should only improve things for those in my care. I have a lot of work and probably enough time to do it. I hope that the lizard guy comes back with a bird soon. Those kids weren't in the best of shape. Despite the requirement I set for the guy, I'd rather help them sooner than later.